The grand combat dome on Kalis Prime floated high above the purple clouds. It was shaped like a giant silver egg. Inside, seats rose in circles all the way to the top. Thousands of beings filled them. Scales, feathers, tentacles, glowing skin, every kind of life form in the quadrant came to watch. Lights flashed, music thumped, vendors sold glowing drinks and roasted insects on sticks. Today was the qualifier round for the Apex Gauntlet. The winner would get a huge prize and a title that opened doors across the stars. But most came for the blood and the show. The announcer floated in the center on a small platform. His voice echoed through every speaker. Next match, from the storm plains of Tarkon, the four-armed blade lord Vorak. A huge gate opened. Vorak stepped out, 8 feet tall, muscles like knotted ropes under red scales. 4 arms, each holding a long curved sword that sparked with blue plasma. Vorak raised all 4 blades and let out a deep bellow that shook the seats. From the shadow hives of Zeph, the venom dancer Lyra. Another gate slid open. Lyra flowed into the light. Her body was a shifting mass of black tendrils, each one ending in a sharp hook or needle. No face, just a cluster of bright green eyes that moved independently. She coiled and uncoiled like smoke with teeth. The crowd cheered even louder. Lyra had never lost in open combat. The announcer paused for effect. And finally, from the primitive dust ball known as Earth, the human, Jack Nolan. A smaller door opened. Jack walked out alone. He wore plain gray pants and a matching shirt. No armor, no helmet. Just sturdy boots and a simple combat knife sheathed at his hip. Brown hair cut short. Average build. Calm face. He looked like someone who had just finished a long shift at a factory. The laughter started small. Then it grew. It rolled across the stands like a wave. Send the soft skin back to his mud farm. He will be paced in 30 seconds. Earth? They still use chemical rockets? This is a joke. Jack stood in the middle of the arena floor. He did not look up at the stands. He watched Vorak and Lyra. His hands stayed loose at his sides. The Fightmaster, a tall, insect-like referee with clicking mandibles, raised his staff. Combatants ready? Fight. Vorak moved first. He charged with all 4 swords raised. The air screamed as plasma edges cut toward Jack. Lyra dropped low. Her tendrils shot forward like black whips, aiming to wrap Jack's legs and pull him down. Jack took 1 step to the side. Smooth. Calm. Vorak's blades missed by a hair. Jack's right hand flicked up. His knife flashed once. It sliced clean through the tendon on Vorak's lower left wrist. Green blood sprayed in an arc. Vorak roared in pain and surprise. 1 sword clattered to the ground. Lyra's tendrils reached Jack's ankles. He dropped to 1 knee, rolled forward under her reach, came up behind her main body mass. His boots slammed down on a nerve cluster at her base, the spot every fighter knew was her weak point. Lyra froze. All her eyes blinked at once. Jack did not hesitate. He drove the knife straight into the soft gap between her upper segments. The blade sank to the hilt. Lyra made a high, hissing sound. Her tendrils went limp. She collapsed into a twitching pile of black ropes. Vorak spun toward Jack. Rage filled his yellow eyes. 3 remaining swords came down in a storm of blue fire. Jack caught the first blade on his own knife. Metal screamed against plasma. The edge bit deep, but Jack twisted his wrist hard. The plasma sword snapped at the base. Sparks flew. Jack stepped inside Vorak's reach. Too close for the long blades to work well. He punched the giant in the throat with a closed fist. Vorak gagged. Jack hooked 1 thick leg with his own and yanked. At the same time, he drove an elbow into the side of Vorak's head. Bone cracked. The huge warrior swayed. Jack pushed. Vorak fell backward like a tree cut at the roots. The arena floor shook when he hit. Silence dropped over the dome. Jack stood alone in the center, breathing even. A thin cut on his left forearm dripped red, but that was all. He looked up at the stands for the first time. No smile, no raised arms, just a small nod, like he had finished a normal day's work. The announcer's voice came back, shaky. Winner, Jack Nolan, of Earth. The crowd reacted slowly. Some clapped. Many sat stunned. A few angry voices shouted that it was rigged. Most just stared. High in a private box, hidden behind one-way glass, a single figure watched without moving. Tall, dressed in black from head to toe. A deep hood covered his face. Only 2 silver eyes glowed faintly inside the shadow. This was Kale, the ghost in the dark, the blade no one saw coming. He had ended lives on every major world. Kings, warlords, even a few who claimed to be gods. No contract too hard, no target too protected. He never failed. Kale leaned forward slightly. The human had not fought like the others. No flashy spins, no war cries, just economy, precision, patience, like a hunter who knew the animal would tire before he did. Kale tapped a small device on his wrist. A screen lit up with Jack's file. Sparse, born on a small farm outside a town called Lincoln. Joined Earth's Frontier Marines at 18. Left after 10 years. Worked private security since. No major awards, no scandals, just quiet jobs done well. Kale closed the file. He stood. The fight below was over. Workers dragged Vorok and Lyra away. Medics rushed in. Jack walked toward the exit tunnel without a glance back. Kale left his box. He moved through the private corridors like smoke. No one saw him pass. He reached the docking bay just as Jack stepped onto the public platform. A sleek black shuttle waited. No name, no markings. The ramp lowered silently. Jack paused. He felt eyes on him. He turned. Kale stood 10 paces away, hood still up, silver eyes locked on Jack. "You fight well, Earthman," Kale said. His voice was low, smooth, almost musical. Jack studied him. "You watched." "I always watch the interesting ones." Jack shrugged. "I'm just here for the credits." Kale stepped closer. "Most come for glory. You came for money. Yet you moved like someone who has killed before. Many times." Jack met the gaze without blinking. "I grew up tracking wolves that killed our livestock. Later I tracked people who needed tracking. Same rules. Wait. Watch. Finish. Clean." Kale tilted his head. Simple words. Deadly truth. Jack waited. Kale reached up and slowly lowered his hood. Gray skin, sharp features, small black horns curved back from his temples. Thin lips. Those silver eyes seemed to see through flesh. Jack did not step back. Kale placed his right fist over his heart. A rare gesture among his kind. Respect. Kinship. "Brother," he said. Jack raised one eyebrow. "We just met." Kale's lips curved in the smallest smile. "And yet I know your blood. I have hunted your kind before. Long ago, in the void. You do not break easy. You learn. You adapt. You outlast." Jack nodded once. "We're slow to start. Hard to stop." Kale extended his open palm. Jack looked at it, then pressed his own palm against it. Warm skin against cool gray. "Brother," Kale repeated, softer. Jack gave a small, tired smile. "Brother." The ramp of the black shuttle hissed shut behind them. Outside, the crowd still argued about the fight. Some called it luck. Others called it skill. A few started to whisper a new name. The Dirt Walker from Earth. The one who did not lose. And somewhere in the shadows, the deadliest assassin in the galaxy had found something he had not expected. The black shuttles slipped away from Kalis Prime without a sound. No lights, no trail. It blended into the dark between stars like it had never been there. Inside, the cabin stayed dim. Only soft blue panels lit the walls. Jack Nolan sat across from Cale. Neither spoke for a long time. Jack broke the silence first. "You said you hunted humans before." Cale leaned back in his chair. His silver eyes caught the light and held it. "Many cycles ago, my first real contract. A human warlord on a fringe colony. He had stolen something from my employer. I was sent to retrieve it and leave no witnesses." Jack listened without moving. "I landed at night, found his camp, guards everywhere. I moved through them like wind, silent, clean. Then I reached him. He was bigger than most humans, scarred, angry. He fought hard. I cut him down, but his people did not run. They came after me, not in waves, not screaming. They tracked me, through rain, through mud, through 3 days without sleep. I killed more than 20. They kept coming, slow, steady, never loud, never tired. I barely escaped." Jack nodded. "Sounds familiar." Cale's thin lips curved. "I learned then. Your kind does not fight for honor or territory alone. You fight until the job is done, until the threat is gone. That is why I never took another contract against humans after that. Too much trouble. Too much persistence." Jack looked out the small viewport. Stars slid past in slow streaks. "And now? Now I need someone who can do what I do, but in places I cannot go." Jack turned back. "You're the ghost everyone fears. What place can't you reach?" Cale tapped a hidden panel. A hologram appeared between them. It showed a massive station orbiting a gas giant. Rings of metal, towers of crystal, ships docked like insects on a flower. The name glowed at the bottom. Nexus Vault. "The most secure vault in the quadrant," Cale said. "Owned by the Syndicate of Endless Trade. They hold items no one else is allowed to touch. Weapons, secrets, relics from dead worlds. One of those relics belongs to my people. It was taken long ago. I want it back." Jack studied the hologram. "Why not go yourself?" "I am known. My face, my shadow is on too many lists. The moment I step foot there, alarms will scream. But you," Cale's eyes narrowed with something like respect. "You are nobody. A farmer from Earth who won one fight. They will laugh. They will let you in. Then you will show them why they should not laugh." Jack rubbed his chin. "What's in it for me?" "Half the Syndicate's credit reserve. Enough to buy your own planet if you want one. Or nothing. Just the quiet life you say you want." Jack stayed quiet for a moment. "And if I say no?" Cale smiled again. Small, sharp. "But I would rather have a brother at my side than an enemy in my path." Jack looked at the hologram again. The station spun slowly. Guards patrolled. Sensors swept the void. It looked impossible. "I need details," Jack said. "Plans, layouts, schedules." Cale waved a hand. Files appeared on the panel. Blueprints, guard rotations, security codes, weak points marked in red. Jack scrolled through them. His eyes moved fast. He pointed to one section. "Here. The service tunnels under the main vault. They run cold. Minimal patrols. But they vent heat every 4 hours. Timing has to be perfect." Cale watched him. "You see it already." "I see patterns, same as tracking game. Wait for the right moment. Move when they look away." Cale shut off the hologram. "We have 7 standard days before the relic is moved to a new site. After that, it disappears forever." Jack leaned forward. "Then we don't waste time." Space folded around them. When it opened again, the gas giant loomed ahead. Orange storms swirled below. The Nexus Vault hung in orbit like a jeweled crown. They docked at a public bay. No questions asked. Jack stepped out first. He wore the same gray clothes. No weapons visible. Cale stayed in the shadows of the ramp, cloaked and silent. Jack walked through the crowds. Traders shouted prices. Aliens haggled. No one paid him much attention. A few glanced at his plain look and smirked. One drunk merchant bumped him on purpose. "Watch it, dirtfoot," the merchant snarled. Jack kept walking. No reaction. He found a small bar near the lower levels. Dark, smoky, full of rough types. He sat at a corner table, ordered water, waited. A tall figure approached. Scales like oil on water. This was Ren, a fixer who sold information to anyone with credits. "You the one from the arena?" Ren asked. Jack nodded once. Ren slid into the seat. "Heard you beat Vorak and Lyra. Easy. People talk. Some want to hire you. Some want to kill you for the insult." Jack sipped his water. "I'm looking for work. Quiet work." Ren leaned in. "What kind?" "Entry to the vault. One night. No trace." Ren laughed. "Impossible. The syndicate kills dreamers like you." Jack placed a small credit chit on the table. Not too much, just enough to show he was serious. Ren's eyes flicked to it, then back to Jack. "There is a way. Maintenance crew. They go in every cycle, clean ducts, fix lights. No one checks them hard, but you need papers, and a reason they believe." Jack pushed the chit forward. "Get me in. I handle the rest." Ren pocketed it. "Bring more credits." He left. Jack finished his water, stood, walked back to the shuttle. Kale waited inside. "Progress?" "2 days. Maintenance cover. I go in, you stay dark until I signal." Kale nodded. "Good, but be careful. The syndicate has eyes everywhere." Jack sat. "I know how to stay quiet." That night, Jack studied the blueprints again. Every corridor, every vent, every camera blind spot. He marked escape routes in his mind, backup plans. He did not sleep much. He never needed much. 2 days later he met Ren. Papers changed hands. A gray jumpsuit, a tool belt, a fake ID chip. Jack walked to the service gate. Guards scanned him, laughed at his name. "Earth? They still use dirt to grow food?" Jack smiled small. "Keeps us busy." They waved him through. Inside the vault, the air was cold and clean. Metal walls echoed his steps. He pushed a cleaning cart. No one watched too close. He reached the lower levels, the service tunnels. Dark, narrow. He slipped inside, pulled a small device from his belt. Kale's voice came through, soft. "You are in. Proceed to Grid 7. The relic is there." Jack moved, silent, steady. Past humming pipes, past sleeping drones. He reached the vault door, small, hidden, a single lock. He placed a decoder. It clicked. The door slid open. Inside, on a black pedestal, sat the relic, a small crystal orb. Blue light pulsed inside, old, powerful. Jack reached for it. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed. Guards poured in from every side. Jack did not panic. He grabbed the orb, slipped it into his pocket, turned. A squad of armored guards blocked the way. Weapons raised. Their leader stepped forward. "Drop it, human. You are done." Jack looked at them, calm, always calm. Then he moved. He rolled left. A tool from his belt flew, hit a power junction. Lights died. Darkness fell. Shouts, shots, sparks. Jack was already gone. Into the vents, crawling fast, twisting through tight spaces. Behind him, pursuit. But he knew the paths. He had memorized them. He reached an outer hatch, opened it. Space waited beyond. Cold, black. Kale's shuttle appeared. Ramp open. Jack jumped. The hatch closed behind him. Inside the shuttle, he handed the orb to Kale. Kale held it like something sacred. "You did it." Jack wiped sweat from his face. "We did it." Kale looked at him, long, hard. Then he placed his fist over his heart again. "Brother," he said. Jack pressed palm to palm. "Brother." The shuttle jumped away. Alarms faded behind them. The syndicate would hunt. But the relic was gone. And two killers, one feared, one ridiculed, flew into the dark together. The galaxy would learn soon enough. Never laugh at the Earth native. Because when the time comes, he does not need applause. He just needs to finish the job. The stolen relic pulsed softly in Kale's palm as the shuttle jumped again. Blue light danced across the gray skin of his face. He closed his fingers around it gently, like it was alive. Jack watched from the co-pilot seat. The orb looked small, but its weight filled the cabin. "What does it do?" Jack asked. Kale placed the relic on a small stand between them. It floated an inch above the surface, held by nothing visible. "It is a memory core from my home world, before the wars. It holds the names, the faces, the stories of everyone who lived there. My people lost it when raiders took our archives. Without it, we forget who we were. We become only killers, shadows. With this, we can remember." Jack looked at the glowing blue. "You risked everything for memories." Kale met his eyes. "A people without memory are already dead. They just keep breathing." The shuttle dropped out of jump near a hidden asteroid field. Kale guided it into a narrow crack between two spinning rocks. A small base waited inside. Black metal walls, no lights on the outside. The ramp touched down. They stepped out into cold air. Inside the base, the space was simple. One main room, a table, two chairs, a weapons rack, a single bunk. Kale had lived here alone for years. Jack set his pack down. "Safe?" "For now. The syndicate will hunt. They have ships, sensors, credits to burn. But this place is old, forgotten. Even their maps do not show it." Jack walked the perimeter, checked vents, doors, exits, habit. Kale watched him. "You move like you expect trouble. Trouble always finds the one who stole something big." Kale laughed quietly. "True. Sit, rest. We talk next steps." They sat at the table. Kale pulled up a star map on the wall screen. Red dots marked syndicate outposts. Green showed neutral zones. "They will look for us in the trade lanes first," Kale said. "Then the rim worlds. They think we run to sell the relic. We do not run. We wait." Jack studied the map. "They will come here eventually. Someone sold me the maintenance pass. Someone always talks." Kale nodded. "Ren, the fixer. He sells to the highest bidder. He already sold our location. I let him." Jack raised an eyebrow. "Why?" "Because I want them to come. I want them to see what happens when they chase shadows." Jack leaned back. "You want to fight. I want an end. The syndicate took more than one relic from my people. They took our future. If I kill enough of them, the rest might learn to leave the past alone." Jack stayed quiet for a moment. "And me? You can leave now. Take your share. Go home. Farm. Forget." Jack shook his head. "I finish the job. I stay until it is done." Then placed his fist over his heart again. "Brother." Jack returned the gesture. "Brother." They spent the next days preparing. Jack cleaned weapons, checked charges, set traps in the outer tunnels. Kale taught him the weak points of syndicate armor. Joints under the shoulder plates, the seam at the neck. Jack showed Kale how to use a simple knife for close work. No fancy moves, just fast, sure. On the 5th day, sensors pinged. 3 syndicate cruisers, heavy escorts. They dropped out of jump close. No hiding. Kale smiled. "They are angry." Jack stood. "Good. Angry makes mistakes." They moved to the outer chamber. A long tunnel led to the entrance. Narrow, dark, perfect for defense. The syndicate breached the asteroid with cutting torches. Metal groaned. Air hissed. Armored troops poured in. 20, then 30. Laser rifles lit the dark. Jack and Cale waited in the shadows. Jack threw a small charge. It rolled, exploded. Flash and smoke filled the tunnel. Shouts, coughs, confusion. Cale moved first, silent, deadly. His blades, long, curved, black, cut through armor like paper. One trooper fell, then another. No sound but the wet drop of bodies. Jack came from the side. He used the smoke, grabbed a rifle from a fallen guard, fired short bursts, legs, arms, not kills, wounds. The wounded screamed, the others hesitated. "Push forward," a syndicate officer yelled. They pushed. Jack dropped back. Cale vanished into a side vent. The troops advanced, past the first traps, past the blood. Then the floor dropped. Jack had cut supports earlier. A section of grating fell away. 5 troopers dropped into a pit lined with sharp scrap. Screams cut short. The rest stopped, looked around. Fear crept in. Cale appeared behind them. Blades flashed. 3 more down. Jack stepped out from cover, rifle raised. "Drop weapons. Walk away. Last chance." The officer laughed. "You are 2 against an army." Jack fired once. The shot took the officer's helmet clean off. The body dropped. Wrong answer. The remaining troops opened fire. Beams lit the tunnel. Jack rolled behind a pillar. Cale melted into shadow. The fight became chaos. Shots bounced off walls. Sparks flew. Bodies fell. Jack moved low, used cover, never stayed in one place long. He took down 3 more with precise shots, then closed in. Knife work, quick, clean. Cale was a ghost. He struck from above, from behind, from nowhere. His blades found gaps, found throats, found hearts. One trooper saw him coming, raised his rifle. Too slow. Cale's hand closed around the barrel, twisted, broke it, then broke the trooper. The last few tried to run. Jack and Cale cut them off. No mercy, no escape. When it ended, the tunnel was quiet. Bodies everywhere. Smoke hung thick. Blood pooled on metal. Jack breathed hard, looked at Cale. Cale wiped his blades on a dead trooper's cloak. They sent a message. We sent one back. Jack nodded. They will send more. Yes, bigger ships, more troops, but each time they lose. Each time they learn fear. Jack looked at the bodies. We can't stay here forever. Cale sheathed his blades. We do not need forever. We need time. Time to send the relic home. Time to make them pay enough that they stop. Jack picked up a fallen comm unit, listened. Static. Then a voice, distant, angry. They are calling reinforcements. Heavy frigate inbound. 2 days. Cale smiled. Then we have 2 days to prepare a welcome. They worked through the night, moved traps, rigged explosives, set false trails to lead pursuers into dead ends. Jack found a small medkit, patched a burn on his arm. Cale watched. You do not complain. Pain is just information. Tells you where not to get hit again. Cale laughed softly. You sound like one of my old teachers. Jack looked up. What happened to them? Dead. Long ago. Like most of my people. Jack stayed quiet, then said, We make sure it does not happen again. Cale placed his hand on Jack's shoulder. Cool gray against warm skin. Together. Jack nodded. The next day passed in tense waiting. Sensors tracked the incoming frigate. Big, slow, full of troops. On the final night, Jack and Cale sat in the main room. The relic glowed between them. Cale spoke low. If we fall tomorrow, the relic must not go back to them. Jack looked at it. It won't. Cale handed him a small detonator. If I cannot, you do it. Promise. Jack took it. Promise. They clasped palms again. Brother. Brother. Outside, the frigate arrived. Docking clamps locked. Troops prepared to board. Inside, 2 figures waited in the dark. One had been feared across the stars. The other had been laughed at in one arena. Now they stood side by side, ready. The Syndicate would learn the same lesson the galaxy was starting to understand. Never ridicule the Earth native, because when he stands with a brother, the stars themselves might not be enough to stop them. The Syndicate frigate hung outside the asteroid like a black knife in the dark. Its hull was thick and smooth. Guns lined every side. Hangar bays opened. Dropships poured out. Dozens. Each carried 10 armored troops. They moved in tight formation toward the hidden entrance. Inside the base, Jack and Kale watched on a small screen. Red dots closed in. Jack counted them. 50, maybe more. They brought the heavy team, Jack said. Kale checked his blades. Good. The more they send, the louder the lesson. They split up. Jack took the left tunnel. Kale took the right. They moved without words. They knew the plan. Jack crouched behind a stack of old crates. He held a rifle, taken from the last fight. Scope adjusted, fingers steady on the trigger. He waited. The first dropship landed with a heavy thud. Troops jumped out. Flashlights cut the dark. They advanced fast. Boots echoed. Jack let them come closer. 20 steps. 10. 5. He fired once. The lead trooper's helmet exploded. The body dropped. Chaos started. Shouts, shots, beams lit the tunnel. Jack rolled to new cover, fired again. Another down. He moved low, used shadows, never stayed still. From the other side, Kale appeared like smoke. His black blades flashed. 2 troopers fell before they saw him. He vanished again. The Syndicate pushed forward. They used shields, big rectangles of energy that blocked bullets and blades. They advanced step by step. Jack saw the shields. He smiled small. He pulled a grenade from his belt. Not explosive. EMP. He rolled it under the front rank. It popped. Blue waves spread. Shields flickered. Died. Troops panicked. Exposed. Kale struck. Blades cut through armor. Bodies hit the floor. Jack charged in. Rifle butt to one face. Knife to another throat. He fought close. Dirty. Effective. A big trooper swung a power fist at him. Jack ducked. Kicked the knee. Bone cracked. The trooper fell. Jack finished him with a quick stab. More came. Endless. Jack took a hit. A beam grazed his shoulder. Cloth burned, skin sizzled, pain flared hot. He ignored it, kept moving. Kale saw it, his silver eyes narrowed. He moved faster, deadlier. 3 more fell in seconds. They met in the center of the tunnel, back to back. Still breathing? Kale asked. Jack wiped blood from his lip. Barely. Kale laughed once, short, sharp. The remaining troops pulled back, regrouped. A new officer stepped forward, tall, helmet with red stripes. You are surrounded, the officer said through a speaker. Give us the relic, we let you live. Jack looked at Kale. Kale looked back. Jack raised his voice. Come take it. The officer signaled. More troops rushed in. This time they used gas. Canisters rolled. Yellow smoke filled the air. Slipped it on. Kale did the same. They fought through the haze. Jack used the smoke as cover. He flanked, struck from the side. Kale moved like a shadow in the yellow fog. One by one, the troops fell. The officer tried to run. Kale caught him, pinned him to the wall. Where is your commander? Kale asked. The officer laughed. You think this is all? The fleet is coming. You cannot win. Kale drove a blade through the chest plate. The officer slid down. Jack leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Blood dripped from his shoulder. Kale walked over, looked at the wound. Bad? Burn, not deep. Kale pulled a small kit from his belt, sprayed sealant, wrapped it tight. Jack watched him work. You do not have to stay. Kale tied the bandage. I do. Jack nodded. They dragged the bodies to one side, cleared the tunnel, then they waited again. Hours passed. The frigate stayed outside. No more dropships came. Jack checked the sensors. They are scanning, looking for weak spots. Cale pointed to a side passage. There is an old exhaust vent, leads to the surface. We can use it to board their ship. Jack raised an eyebrow. You want to take the fight to them? Cale smiled. They expect us to hide. We do the opposite. They moved, through narrow vents, past humming fans, past old wiring. The path was tight, dust thick. Jack crawled first. Cale followed. They reached the end. A grate looked out onto the asteroid's surface. The frigate loomed above, docking clamps locked to the rock. Jack cut the grate with a small torch. Quiet, slow. They slipped out. Spacesuits on, magnetic boots locked to the rock. They moved across the surface, slow, careful, no sudden moves. The frigate had side hatches. One was open for repairs. A single guard stood outside. Cale signaled. Jack nodded, grabbed the guard from behind. Hand over mouth. Knife in. Quiet. They dragged the body inside. The corridor was empty. Red emergency lights glowed. They moved deeper, past crew quarters, past engine rooms. They reached the bridge level. Guards at the door. 2. Cale threw a small blade. It hit one in the neck. The other turned. Jack shot him once, clean. They entered the bridge. The captain stood at the main console. Human, older, scar on his cheek. He turned, saw them. You, he said to Jack. The arena clown. Jack stepped forward. Not laughing now. The captain pressed a button. Alarms screamed, doors locked. You are trapped. Cale moved to the side console. Fingers flew over controls. Not for long. The captain drew a pistol. Jack was faster. He crossed the distance in 3 steps, grabbed the wrist, twisted. The pistol fell. The captain swung a fist. Jack blocked, counterpunched. Nose broke. Blood sprayed. The captain fell to his knees. Jack looked down. Call off the hunt, or we finish it here. The captain laughed through blood. You think one ship matters? The syndicate has thousands. Cale finished at the console. Not anymore. Screens showed the frigate's weapons turning inward. Self-destruct started. The captain's eyes widened. You cannot. Cale cut him off. We can. They dragged the captain to an escape pod, locked him inside, launched it toward a neutral station. Then they ran. Explosions rocked the ship behind them. They reached their own shuttle just as the frigate bloomed into fire. Debris spun outward. They jumped away. Inside the shuttle, silence. Jack sat, shoulder throbbed. He looked at Cale. You destroyed their ship. A message. They will think twice now. Jack leaned back. But they will come again. Smarter. Maybe they talk first. Jack closed his eyes for a moment. And the relic? Safe. I sent it home already. A courier ship took it while we fought. Jack opened his eyes. Your people will remember. Cale placed his fist over his heart. Because of you. Jack returned the gesture. Because of us. The shuttle flew into the black. Behind them, the asteroid field burned with the wreck of a syndicate frigate. Word would spread. The ghost and the dirt walker. The assassin and the farmer. Together. The galaxy started to understand. Never ridicule the Earth native. Because when he stands beside a brother, even the strongest fall. The black shuttle drifted in deep space. No stars close, no planets near, just qualid black. Jack sat in the pilot's seat. His shoulders still ached under fresh bandages. Cale stood behind him. The relic was gone, sent home to a hidden world where gray-skinned people waited to remember their past. They had not spoken much since the frigate exploded. Words felt heavy after so much blood. Jack broke the silence. They will not stop. Cale nodded slowly. The syndicate never forgets a loss. They will send hunters, ships, assassins, maybe even someone like me. Jack looked at the empty view screen. Then we keep moving. Cale placed a hand on the back of the chair. Or we end it. Jack turned. How? Cale pulled up a new hologram. It showed a golden station shaped like a crown. The heart of the syndicate. The place where the richest traders met. Where decisions were made. Where the leaders sat safe behind walls no one had ever broken. The Citadel, Cale said. If we take it, the syndicate falls apart. No more orders, no more hunts. They become just merchants again. Weak, scared. Jack studied the image. Layers of defense, fleets around it, thousands of guards. Suicide. Cale's silver eyes shone. Not if we go quiet. Not if we use what they do not expect. Jack waited. Cale continued. I have a contact inside, a servant who hates them. She can get us one way in, a garbage chute, small, forgotten. We slip through, reach the council chamber, make them listen. Jack rubbed his chin. Listen to what? To reason, or to the edge of a blade. Either way, we make them call off the hunt, forever. Jack looked at his friend. The gray face, the small horns, the eyes that had seen too much death. You want peace. Cale lowered his head. I want my people to live without fear. I want to stop being the blade in the dark. I want a life. Jack stood. Then we go. They planned for days. Every detail, every backup. Jack learned the Citadel layout until he could walk it in his sleep. Cale taught him the weak points of syndicate leaders. Pride, greed, fear. The shuttle jumped closer. They hid in the shadow of a dead moon, waited for the right moment. The contact sent a signal, a single pulse. Safe window, 3 hours. They moved. The shuttle matched speed with a garbage hauler, slipped close. Jack and Cale wore black suits, no markings. They jumped across the gap, landed on the hauler's hull. Quiet, steady. The hauler docked at the Citadel's lower ring. Trash tubes opened. They slipped inside one. Dark, smelly, narrow. They crawled through pipes, past grinding machines, past sensors that missed them because Cale had jammed the codes. They reached the inner levels. Clean corridors, soft lights, rich carpets. Guards in gold armor. They waited in a vent, watched, timed patrols. Then they dropped. First guard fell silent. Cale's hand over mouth. Blade across throat. Second guard turned. Jack's fist to the temple. Out cold. They dragged bodies into a closet. Took uniforms. Gold armor felt heavy, but it worked. They walked the halls like they belonged. They reached the council chamber. Huge doors. 2 guards outside. Cale nodded to Jack. Jack stepped forward. Urgent message from the lower fleet. The guards looked at him, recognized the armor, but something felt wrong. One guard raised his weapon. Cale moved faster than thought, blade through the first guard's neck. Jack tackled the second, knee to the chest, elbow to the jaw, down. They pushed the doors open. The council sat around a round table. 10 beings, different species, all rich, all powerful. They looked up in surprise. Jack and Cale stepped inside, weapons raised. A tall blue-skinned leader stood. Who dares? Cale cut him off. Sit. They sat. Jack spoke first. You hunt us, you send ships, you send killers. It stops now. The leader laughed. You two against the syndicate? You will die screaming. Cale placed the tip of his blade on the table. We already took your frigate. We took your vault. We can take this room. And if we die here, others will come. Humans, my people, more like us. You cannot stop what does not break. The room went quiet. A small green-skinned trader spoke. What do you want? Jack answered. A contract. No more attacks on us. No more bounties. No more hunters. You leave us alone, we leave you alone. The leader sneered. You have no power to demand. Jack looked at him. Calm. Always calm. We have each other. That is enough. And we have patience. You have money. Money runs out. Patience does not. Silence stretched. One by one, the council members looked at each other. Fear crept in. The blue leader finally spoke. We will sign. They wrote the terms, simple words, clear promises. Digital seals locked it. Jack took the copy. Cale took another. They backed toward the door. The leader stood again. You think this ends it? Jack looked back. It ends if you keep your word. If you break it, we come back. And next time, we do not ask. They left. Alarms started after they were gone, but they were already moving. Through vents, through pipes, back to the garbage hauler. They jumped to their shuttle. Engines flared. They jumped away. Far from the citadel, in empty space, they stopped. Jack looked at the contract on the screen. Think they will honor it? Cale stared at the stars. Maybe. Maybe not. They know what happens when they push too far. Jack smiled small. They know the Dirt Walker and the Ghost. Cale turned to him, placed fist over heart. Jack did the same. Brother. Brother. The shuttle flew on. No destination. No hurry. Behind them, word spread through the galaxy. The syndicate backed down. The arena jokes stopped. The name Jack Nolan became something else. Not a clown, not a farmer, a warning. And Cale, the ghost no one saw, found something he had lost. A friend, a brother, a reason to stop killing. The stars stayed quiet. But in the quiet, two figures moved on. Not hunting, not hiding, just living, side by side. And the galaxy remembered. Never ridicule the Earth native, because when the laughter stops, what remains is respect.